Hello, welcome along. Nigel with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and here we are back with another World War I Wednesday. And today is actually Tuesday, so you're watching this tomorrow in my world, and it's probably not a very long video. If you remember when I did my my little monthly roundup, I mentioned in there that I probably won't be doing one this week. But I thought I may as well put something out, even if it's only 10 minutes, something for you guys to look at. So as you can see, we've got the upper wing is all glued together. We've got the ailerons glued on. We've got the horns and everything on. So that's all looking good. I'm still yet to go in here with the Mr. Surfacer leveling thinners and remove the excess Mr. Surfacer. As you can see, these gaps in here are all filled in. We've got to get those lines scribed in because there's actually a joint line in the middle of there. So we'll get those lines scribed in, have that looking better. We've got the two panels underneath. I should have done those lines before I put these in. Never mind. We've got these two panels underneath, and for some reason they form a sort of, I don't know if you can see there, but they take the flatness away from the bottom, so now the wing is sitting on those. I've built up one of the lower wings, obviously not added the aileron until I've got all the sanding and everything done. So the spars have gone in, or the ribs have gone in, sorry. Lots and lots of clean up on the spars and sprue gates, which I'm going to show you now. Lots and lots of clean up to do. And as you can see here, these wings will sort of interlock like this in the bottom of the fuselage. So that's good. It looks like it's got a little bit of dihedra as well, which is unusual. So yeah, so we've gone around with our god hands and removed all the sprue gates across here. There's little tiny knockout tabs on there. So now what we've got to do is go in with a little 400 grit sanding stick, and so we don't forget, I'm going to do these first. Okay, and get rid of these sprue gates on here, and these little tie down points. There's a couple on here as well. We're going to need to use a little skinny stick to get in there. This is one of the icky sticky skinny sticks, and then we're going to go and get rid of these sprue gates. Trailing edge, this is a 400 grit Infini Zebra stick. If you're looking for these, you can get them from Brooks Models there, brooksmodels.com. And yes, I do promote him, and yes, I do go on about him all the time because I want him to do well, because he's a new started up business, and he does some great prices, and he's actually a great shopkeeper because he listens to his customers if they request something. If it's something that he hasn't heard of that he thinks is a good idea, or if it's something he's been asked for a few times, he will get it in. And then you can go on there and use your codes NMB10 or NMB20 to get 10 or 20% respectively off your order, which is great. Especially when you bear in mind he does kits as well. So basically any purchase from 15, so you have to spend a minimum of £15 to get 10% off. Up to £50 you get 10% off, and then over £50 you will get 20% off. Now how long those numbers will stay like that, I don't know. I'm sure he will inform me if things change, but obviously with the way things are going in the world, and the exchange rate as well as would have really hit him, so maybe those numbers will change. Maybe it'd be £20 to £60 or something. I don't know, but we shall see. I don't know how some of these companies have sustained, like Wing Leader with their photo archive series. They're still £20. You know, they've gone up 5p when everything else has gone up God knows how much. So I'm just going to go on and get all these sprue gates cleaned up. Okay, like so. Just clean them up with a knife and then go in and sand. And we also have, you can see on the inside of here, there are sink marks, which I'm not gonna finish sand all those out, but we do have seam lines and stuff in there to get rid of. You can see in here, there's a seam line along there, and then of course we've got all our trusty ejector pin marks, which are all filled. So as you can see, this is why I didn't think I'm going to have anything out this week, because obviously you've got to do this, then assemble it all, then fill all the gaps with super glue, let all that dry, then do the Mr. Surfacer in these gaps on the main spar and let all that dry, then go in with a cotton bud and then give it a prime, clean it up, find any faults, and then give it a coat of paint, and then wait for that paint to dry, and then give it a coat of oils, and leave it a few days for the oils to dry, and then give it a clear coat. You can see it just goes on and on and on, and it's mainly waiting around and doing nothing. And that's the problem. That's where the issue comes. Now I think once we've got these wings done, I think we're pretty much done with the long-term stuff, and we could rig the fuselage. I'm not doing that today. I just don't feel like doing it. Plus I really need to have Dottie out of the room when I'm doing that, because you can just imagine she's like a bloody kitten, and as soon as she sees something dangling, so if a bit of string dangles off the edge of the bench and to the other end happens to be tied a 16th scale sock with camel, you can imagine the result, and it won't be pretty. And with her being so young, I don't want to be feeling like absolutely throttling her, so that's not going to happen. Anyway, so I'm going to get all these ejector pins, steam lines, sprue gates and all that all sanded out, and then I'll come back and we'll get some assembly done. Right, so all cleaned up. As it happens, for your port wing, if you're building one of these, most of these ejector pins are positive, so that's good. So if you look on there, if you want a freeze frame, all the kits will be the same because the mold tool's the same. But if you want to look on there, it's only these along the leading edge and a couple around the wingtip need filling. These all just sanded out, they're gone. So there's one there, look, which has still got a witness. That one there, I would imagine with a couple of more swipes, yeah, that'll disappear as well. So so there we go. I'll tell you what I haven't done. I haven't done the mould seams, so I need to get those done. Right, so all done. As you can see, we've still got some sink marks in the middle there, but I'm not going to worry about those. Life's too short. We've got some in here as well. They're not as bad, but you know, once it's got the oil paint on and the wood grain and everything, it's not going to show, and it's going to have a matte finish, so you won't see that glossy sheen. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this little pulley in, and this goes. Where does this go? This goes in here. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what it's for, but it basically just pops in there like that. Okay, and then a drop of extra thin. Let that get in capillary around, and there we go. So that's that part in. Then we just put a drop of cement on the top edge, and I'm just going to brush it over with some cement just to soften the sanding marks. There we go. So that's that one in, and then the rest of it is ribs. So we've got these ribs with these long legs on the back, so these will pop in where the aileron goes, just like so. Okay, and then we'll glue those in. So drop in there, so you can see all this tedious sanding and ejector pin mark filling all turns into a very, very quick assembly. Plenty of cement, get a good weld going on. So you're not worried about tidiness. And there we go, make sure they're all down, make sure they're all vertical. And there we go, that's those in. And what we'll do then, we'll come in with the super glue and fill them in, and probably have to do 2 or 3 applications of super glue. But just like on this upper wing, you can see we'll get the rib where it joins there, we'll get it step free. We'll have it step free along the leading edge here. So there we go. So I'll put the rest of these in, and these are the ones with the shorter tail. Now as you can see, we have the side with the ejector pin marks and the plain side. So I'm going to put the plain side towards the inside. Okay, and then here on the outer wing where we have the ejector pin marks. Because remember, if this was put into a show or a museum or anything, people are going to be stood here looking at it. So the further away we can get the ejector pin marks, the better. Okay, so have the non-ejector pin side outboard. There we go. In fact, what you could do is get them all off the sprues and then put them all and have them all this way and all that way in another wing. But and remember, this is the lower wing, so we get plenty of cement in there, plenty in there. Plenty in there. And in there. And then we'll come along to the back end. Drop some in. Remember, I'm using plenty of cement because this is going to get quite a lot of punishment with filling and sanding, and then all the oils being rubbed in and rubbed off and all that. It's all abuse, plastic abuse. That's what we're doing. We call the Plastic Prevention Society Prevention for Cruelty to Plastic. There we go. Right. So that is literally that wing, you can see, built up in just a couple of minutes. So like hours and hours of sanding to be completed with seconds of building. And then what I'm doing is let this glue just dry off, just tack off, let it just go off a little touch. And then I'm going to come along with my rule here, and I'm just going to make sure these ribs are kind of parallel with the extension on the back there, so that when you sand them they look like one rather than being like this, you know. So there we are, just make sure all the fronts are down. There we go. So you can guess what I'm going to say now. I'll leave that to dry and then we'll get in there with some super glue. So see you in a second for you, in an hour or so for me. And there we go. So as you can see, we've got the super glue, and as can be seen here on that piece there, you can see that it just shrinks back and it needs 2, sometimes 3 applications. That's the ordinary VMS black, not the black thin. I haven't gone underneath yet because obviously when I put the wing down, that'll be touching the ground and it will end up with glue everywhere. So what we'll do is get the top side done first and then do the bottom afterwards. I've put some glue in here for that one. I've also, I can see here that that ejector pin mark is not sanded out. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Okay, so yeah, all looking good. I mean, all this ejector pin marker underneath and everything. I mean, do you really worry about it? Because is it going to be seen? Are people going to pick the model up? You know, it's just me. I have this bloody thing with ejector pin marks. I can't leave them. I'm not even sure if these here are going to be visible, but you know, I got rid of them anyway. So there we are. So as far as I know, as far as I can see, I've also got a bit of a sprue gate there. This is the trouble when you work so much on sanding stuff out, you just get so fed up with it. You know, I should really be glad to see the back of these wings when they're done, because it's just very, very repetitive, very, very laborious, non-interesting work to get to the end result. But there we go, I'm moaning again. So there we are. As far as I can see, that's going to be it for this week. Unless you look, if you look down here, if you see the red bar is sort of, you know, here rather than this end, then maybe you've got a bit more to come. But we shall see. Right, I will see you next week or in a second. And there we go. So next day now, and I'm on my 3rd application of super glue in the top parts. And I've also gone in and done the bottoms. If you're wondering why I haven't fitted the ailerons yet to the lower wings, it's because these bits here I want to sand out where these ribs are here. So basically, it's just a case of thinking about it, you know, as you move forward. This is, as I say, this is I think this is the worst part of the build. It's the most tedious, certainly. And I've also gone in and done the sides of these panels here where they're fitted. You can see in there we've got the super glue running along that rib. So we've got the you can see already, and that's been on there for about 10 minutes, and you could already see how it's shrunk back there. So we'll get some more. Just keep adding bloody super glue. And I know some of you are going to say, why don't you use something thicker? That doesn't work, because that just shrinks back as well. So I've tried the ordinary black VMS. I'm not going to use the MIG ammo stuff because it is stringy as anything. It'll make a right old mess on these wings. I really don't like the MIG ammo super glue, I must be honest. I much prefer the VMS. I mean, VMS is my go-to for pretty much everything out there. Masking fluid is amazing. When it's brand new, the trouble is it dries out over time. So every time you open it, I think you lose a bit of life. So there we go. So that's as much as we're doing for now. So I'll keep on pressing on for the next few days, keep doing this, and then get them primed. I might do a video when I paint them, and we can combine that with, you know, with a gallery airbrush video or something, eh? So because I've been using those a lot lately, and getting great results as well. So there we go. As you can see, we're moving forward anyway. And as I said just yesterday, I can remember saying it's just now to you. You know, once these wings are done, we're on a real flying visit then, because once these wings are painted, wood grained up and everything, it's just plain sailing from there. These have been the big barrier. I should have done these first off camera, and then we would have been flying through now. Anyway, I'll see you all next week, I hope, for another World War I Wednesday. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.